Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. It's Monday, March 22nd. Hope you had a great weekend. A quick video update today on some important news. The SBA launched the portal to accept the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. The eligibility is pretty broad. I'm going to go into that and what the portal looks like. There's a new PPP and EIDL grant and loan report released as of a few days ago. 90 million Americans have received their stimulus check. Here's what to know if you are still waiting. There's talk about a fourth stimulus check. Tech shares are starting the week higher, and we have new grant and funding opportunities. I'll talk about those as well. As always, thank you so much for subscribing and supporting us, and let's dive right in. Let's start right here with the economic news. Tech shares are starting the week higher. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow are all up this morning. The reason for this, investors continue to train their attention on bond markets after a drop in the price of U.S. government debt last week. Apple was up 1.4% in morning trading. Tesla was up almost 2%. We'll see what happens this week, if they'll continue to go up, or will the trend of the past few weeks continue with tech stocks struggling because of rising rates in bond yields. We'll keep an eye on that this week. 90 million folks have gotten their $1,400 stimulus check. Would love to hear in the comments if you've received it or not. Double check your account. In particular, I did hear from some folks that they received more than they thought because they forgot they had a dependent on their tax return, or they filed as head of household. So it might not be what you expect, but take a quick look at your bank account this morning. You may be surprised. Do we think there's going to be a fourth stimulus check? Well, here's the latest. A group of 10 Democratic senators has already petitioned Joe Biden to include more money for direct stimulus payments in the next spending bill. The Washington Post reported this, and they want this on a recurring basis, no less. So here's one of the quotes: "As you prepare your Build Back Better plan for long-term economic recovery, know that we are ready to work with you in support of recurring direct checks." So whether this goes forward or not will depend on what happens to the economy, the unemployment rate, and the poverty rate. Currently, 20 million Americans are still out of work, and of course the lowest wage workers have been hardest hit. We'll see. The $1.9 trillion package is less than 2 weeks old, so I think we're going to have to wait a little bit for this and focus on what's in that package, what's been approved, instead of speculating about the future. Speaking of the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, finally we have some news here. It's taken almost 3 months, but there's this portal here, svograntportal.sba.gov. I'll leave a link to this in the description. The brief recap is there are $16 billion dedicated for these grants. It's basically just a splash page, and that's exactly what they call it here, a splash page. The SBA will also host a national informational webinar to highlight the application process for potential eligible entities from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, March 30th. We'll watch that and condense the highlights in a new video, so if you're not around to watch it, don't worry, we've got you covered. Two notes here. One, you can get both the PPP and the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. That's a new change from 2 weeks ago. Second, the Shuttered Venue Operator Grant does require a bit more work. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail now, but I just want to reiterate who's eligible. They include live venue operators or promoters. So if you promote live events, you would be included in this. Theatrical producers, live performing arts organizations, relevant museum operators, zoos, aquariums, motion picture theater operators, talent representatives. So keep those in mind because they are pretty broad. Again, in-person events, and that ecosystem is covered by this. Okay, here's the splash page. There's not much to it. It's basically, they should have had this up 2 months ago, to be quite frank, because it should only take a couple minutes to actually put this up. It's a quick form where you put in your email, your organization name, your venue type, one of the categories I just mentioned, and your address, and that is it. After you click next here, you get a page that looks like this, SVOG sign up form. Thank you for registering your interest in applying. So it's a glorified email list. You may be frustrated because really 3 months in, all we have is an email list, but it shows progress. It's better than nothing. And I think it's a good idea, if you think you qualify, to get on the email list to be notified when you can apply. And a quick note, in order to get a grant here, you must be in the federal government's System for Award Management, also known as sam.gov. So you can go to sam.gov to see that information, to figure out how to create an account and register an entity and what that's all about. Okay, PPP and EIDL news. What's happening? Well, the short of the long is the PPP is progressing. The EIDL grants are not. So this round, the SBA has approved 2.9 million PPP loans for a volume of $190.5 billion. That's massive. In these reports, they always go over who's getting them, what types of businesses that they are reaching smaller groups as well. So that's good. I do want to scroll down because it's always what they leave out that's most interesting. They talk about the EIDL loans, no mention on increasing the limit many of you have maxed out at 150K, or you're in the process of appealing a decision or trying to get more. Perhaps with Isabel Guzman, they may change some EIDL limits so you can get more, but we don't know yet. And with the advances, they just have the completed round 1 data. Again, nothing on this round. Our data last week showed 98% of you are still waiting for the EIDLs, specifically the targeted EIDLs. And there's, of course, the additional $5 billion for more money for an additional $5,000, but I think most of you are still in the boat or of waiting for that full 10K. No progress there. I'll keep you posted as always. Also, today we are releasing new grants on our app. Our team is researching new programs all weekend. We have a list of several that we're going to share with you later today. So you can get that on our app. It's HelloSkip in the App Store, and just click the See New Grants option. To finish up, the case deaths and hospitalizations are all down. It's a positive trend. The vaccinations continue. Thank you so much for tuning in, subscribing, liking this video so more people see it, and I'll see you tomorrow.